Hey, hey, how are you today? Welcome to the very first episode of A Layered Journey. I'm your host, Siobhan, and I'm so excited to have you here. Come on, have a seat, grab a chair, sit on the couch, slide that thing over. It's fine. It's fine. Kitchen's over there, snacks in the cabinet. Down the hall is the bathroom. Just make sure you take your shoes off, and if your feet smell, go on in there and wash them up. Washcloths in the closet. Yes. Now that I got that out of the way, ooh, one more thing. Let me get these nerves together, okay? Just one moment. Since you're new here, let me tell you a little bit about this podcast. Life isn't one dimensional, it's layered. It's full of highs and lows and everything in between. This podcast is where we peel back those layers together. We'll talk about grief, growth, parenting, and all the messy, beautiful moments that make us human. A little about me: I'm a mom, a creative, and someone who's been through her fair shares of life's ups and downs. I've lost both of my parents, navigating mental health struggles, and spent a lot of time figuring out how to keep moving forward, even when life feels impossible. I aim to create a space where we can laugh, cry, and grow together because we're all just figuring this thing out one day at a time. And that brings us to today's topic: the side of grief no one talks about. This one is deeply personal for me, but I think it's a conversation we need to have, especially after the holidays. Still feel a little funny thinking about the ones on the other side. Grief is messy, complicated. I love to call it ghetto, disturbing, sickening, and so much more than what people expect. It's not just about sadness. Sometimes I wish it was just about the sadness. It's about the spirals, the isolation, and sometimes even losing yourself. In this episode, I'll share my journey through grief, the dark places it took me, how I started to heal, and what I've learned along the way. My hope is that if you're navigating grief, this episode reminds you that you're not alone and there's always a way forward. Let's start with the spiral because when I lost mommy and then daddy years later, I didn't just lose them. I lost myself. I was free falling and I had no idea how to stop it. We lost our mother to breast cancer, January 2012, and I completely had a breakdown. I would later learn in therapy I developed PTSD with her treatment into passing. And our family, mommy, daddy, me and my sister, I'm the oldest, we had a tight connection. It Losing mommy hit all of us and immediate family and her friends. It hit hard because she fought a good fight. It just wasn't meant for her to stay here. And I'm at a place where I know and respect that now because I didn't for years. Now with her loss, I did slip into pills. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't eating. I was tired of hurting. And I did some Googling with the medication that we still had of hers. And I found some pain meds that she didn't really use. They made her sleepy. She felt groggy. I started taking them. It didn't help. In the moment, it felt like it did. It did not help at all. It did nothing but just made me feel worse. And over time, I was able to talk to a boyfriend at the time, and he helped me stop that. But sadly, that did create a habit that I to this day have to be mindful to not go down that road again. With our daddy, I was finally getting to the place of moving on for our mom's death. It Yes, and we lose daddy. And that snaps my mind again, and I developed another traumatic experience. Our father was a truck driver, and he was on his way to another load, and unfortunately, a driver crossed into his lane, and our father did not do head on. He maneuvered. Unfortunately, that caused that driver to his gas tank, caused our father a jackknife, and he ended on the side of the road. I developed PTSD from not only losing our father, but because of a bystander recording it and submitting it, or the news finding it and they uploading it to the announcement of a driver lost his life. I am still processing him not being here. I'm still processing that pain. Um, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Like, it's like, what is going on? Um, when he passed, the ground completely disappeared because the last aspect of what I like to call a safety net, that was gone. Me and my sister, our children, we are out here. We have loved ones all around us. I love my people. They have been there for us, but in those moments, it was just me and my sister. That's that's how we felt. And it's cold feeling like that. I'll get to that in a second. On days where I started longing for him so much it made me physically sick. And the same for our mommy. Like my body was grieving just as much as my heart. We ate out a lot. I didn't like eating out. I I I didn't like cookouts. I didn't like family events because my two, at the time one and now two, they ain't here. I remember one time I would cry like crazy. Cry sometimes until I had nothing left. There was a time a dear friend held me as I broke down, and it was almost an hour before I stopped crying, like I was in pain. I may have caused that train of reactions because I did play Luther Vandross Dance with My Father again because I wanted to see if I was strong. I wasn't strong. I wasn't strong at all. But I'm glad to say here I am. But also, with all that pain, I even lost my faith for a while, and that's with both parents. During nap, I couldn't understand how God could let this happen. How could He take her away? She prayed. She stayed steadfast. She did all this, and yet you take her away in this manner? 10 years later, I'm having that same prayer. You take him out. My dog, my pop, our daddy. And then that way, wow, felt empty. I felt angry. I felt pissed. Stop praying. Stop believing. And I just stopped and I stayed stopped. And that is pieces of the reason why I'm doing this podcast. Because what I experienced, my route I went with my life thus far, I would prefer you don't follow everything I did. So I'm gonna share with you. As I said earlier, grief doesn't just hurt, it isolates. I didn't want to be around anyone. Family, friends, y'all not him. Family, friends, you're not her. I cut people off Not because I didn't love them, but because I didn't have the energy to explain what I was feeling. I didn't have the energy to exist in the beginning for both losses. Earlier, I said eating seems to be attached to my grief with them, and it is heavy. It is strong. You can't see right now on YouTube, but I am a slender woman. At the time of the losses for both, I was around 125, 130. After each loss, I dropped down to 115. With our father, I was fluctuating between 113 to 118. I'll post some pictures for those of you who are on YouTube who can see the difference from before mommy's loss and after, before daddy's death and after. Ugh. Now, as I look back during that time, I realized I was disappearing inside and out. And I am thankful that I had people that continue to keep me in their thoughts. They kept me in their prayers because if it was not for them, I wasn't able to find the strength on my own. And then there's the darkness, the thoughts you don't want to admit to anyone, the anger. I'm mad. Why? Why? I had to, no, I'm going to be real on this. I am still struggling with the thought of having my father considered a hero and he's not here to hear those words. It hurt. The anger of watching my mother do everything possible with her cancer journey and nothing. She's gone. She finds out in 2010, go through chemo, surgery, I think vasectomy. Oh Jesus. Lord, excuse me. I was gonna try to use right big words, use the wrong one. Our watched our mommy go through chemo, surgery, radiation, 2011, January 2012, end of the month, she leaves this side. The guilt. My mom was in the hospital her last week of life, and it is about an hour and some change away. I didn't get to see my mother the day she passed. I'm almost over that. That guilt runs strong. Guilt with our father. Why can't I remember what he had on when he walked out the house that day? So what if, how would he have been if he survived that crash? How would he have been physically and mentally after that? Because the way that crash was, it was either the driver or it was going to be daddy. What if it never happened? What if he still be here? What if that driver could still have their life they had before that day? Grief is wild. Daddy's death is hard because it's literally an accident. That gentleman had no substances in his system, no alcohol, didn't seem like a crazy maneuver. It was an accident. He caused an accident. He, around my age, two children just like me, and his life changed forever that day, and he does not remember. I think about him often. I think about his children. I think about how his life has changed accidents don't just affect one party, it affects many. I, I'll discuss more of my thoughts in regards to our father's passing and how I feel towards that driver. I can't lie to you. It would be dope if I get a DM. I would prefer you to do a DM. On one of my social medias, I want you to do a DM. I do not want you to put it in a comment. I don't need anybody attacking you. This is between you and I. I'm too nervous to search for you. But if you ever stumble upon this podcast, a Virginia driver was in North Carolina. You met us in the courtroom. There is a gesture that I done to you that you should remember. I'm going to ask you about that gesture to confirm it's you. I just want to know if you're okay. I just want to know that you were able to find a way to move on. It sucks that you had to be the catalyst, but that doesn't mean your story ends. Not really sure why that came up, but I'm going to let that stay in. Let me get back on track. So, with all that being said, grief isn't just sadness, it's a storm. And for a long time, I didn't think I'd survive it. I thought it was going to take me out. But you know what? Let's take a breather. Let's breathe in for a few moments, shall we? Come on, come on. Okay, look at us bonding. All right. Here's the thing. Even in the darkest moments, there's always a tiny light, even if it's hard to see. My healing journey wasn't a straight line. Honey, it still isn't. But I found a few things that have helped me start to climb out of the spiral. One of those things is humor, specifically dark humor. Okay. I love a good old nasty dark humor. Guilty pleasure of mine. Yes, it is. But finding ways to laugh became my coping mechanism, even at the hard stuff. It's like my soul saying, we're still here and we're going to find joy even in this mess. And that is something I lost. Finding joy even in the mess. Staying stuck in the mess. Focusing on the mess will prevent you. It will prevent you from living again. You hear me? I'm talking to you. Don't stay stuck in it. And if you are seeing you are unable to get yourself out of it, baby, find somebody you trust, reach out, get that help, okay? So for me, I reached out after a manager pulled me to the side, talked to me, gave her suggestions. I was following in the lines of what she's seen with her daughter, and that helped me. And then I started taking small steps. I also started trying new things. I took small steps like walking outside, exploring my creativity, and finding outlets to express myself. And therapy was a game changer. Now I'm going to admit to you, I haven't been in like a 2, 3 years now. I ain't gonna front. I ran away because she felt like she was getting close to like really figuring stuff out, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I'm still not ready. I'm still not ready, but I know it's what's needed, and I know it does work because when you put the work in and really allow yourself to be open and honest with your therapist, it is going to help you tremendously. Just give it a try, okay? Because having a safe space to say everything without judgment helped me begin to unpack the layers of my grief and more. I'd be lying if I said I figured it all out. I have not. I wish I had. I'm here to gain a community where we figure this out together because what I can't think of, you can. What you can't think of, I can. If we can't, we got a bunch of mother. mm. mm. Trying to not use my favorite words on this podcast. Amen. Like I said, I ain't got to figure it out. But one thing I've learned is that healing isn't all about going back to who you were before the loss. Oh, no, 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 no. It is about starting over, building something new. For me, part of that rebuilding was finding my faith again. It wasn't easy. I was angry at God for years. You would have thought I had his personal line and I was going out of my way to not address him at all, honey. Down bad, real bad. Both deaths and other situations. I ran. Thank goodness he didn't run from me. What helped me is, for whatever reason, after crying, finding out daddy was gone, after letting as many as I could know that I was able to handle in that time frame, I got in his pickup truck and I called to God and asked him to be with me because I'm not understanding why you keep thinking I'm strong like this because what are you doing? Why are you playing with me like this? God, my goodness. But it helped. And this isn't for everybody. You find what's going to help you. I do believe having faith in something helps us get through these tough times and eventually gain a sense of peace. Because that's what my faith in God does for me. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I still have days when the grief feels fresh, but I've learned that it's okay to carry it with me. It doesn't have to weigh me down anymore. It's a part of my strength. So, you've made it to the end with me. Give yourself a round of applause, okay? Let's Good job. Good job. Thank you for staying. So, if you're listening to this and you're in that spiral, I want you to know you're not alone, okay? Grief is messy. It's painful. It's so much more than people talk about, but it doesn't have to define you, okay? Take it one step at a time. Find what helps you. Find what helps you. And only you know what's going to be beneficial for you, okay? Be an advocate for yourself, even when it's against self, all right? So whether it's laughter, therapy, prayer, something else entirely, remember starting over isn't failing, okay? It's growing. Remember that, baby. You got this. Thank you for letting me share this piece of my journey with you. I am excited. Ooh. I'm excited for what this podcast potential could be. I'd love to hear your story in the comments below on YouTube and podcast platforms. Tell me that person that you're missing on the other side and why. Let's shout up our people that we miss. Let them know we still thinking about them, okay? And if you want to connect with me, shoot me a DM, get a conversation going, you're more than welcome to. I will have all of my links in the description. YouTube, I'm going to have them popping up as well, I think. The easiest method to find all of my social media and other ways to connect with me would be Linktree. That will be linktr.ee/Siobhan the Creative. SIOBHANTHECREATIVE. All one word. Come check me out. Enjoy this Can't wait to see you next time, family. Take care of you. Bye.